Easy, boy. Take it slow.
Whinny.
That's it. Steady.
Snort.
Hold on tight.
He had always trusted his horses, until one ran into the woods, dragging him into a discovery he never could have imagined. What he found there would change everything he thought he knew about his stable and himself. Ethan had always loved his horses more than anything else. Every morning, he would wake before the sun, feed them, and walk through the stable, checking that each one was healthy and calm. His favorite was Shadow, a black horse with a white mark on his forehead. Shadow was strong and gentle, and Ethan trusted him like a friend. One afternoon, while Ethan was brushing Shadow near the edge of the forest, the horse suddenly lifted his head, ears pointed forward, and bolted toward the trees. Ethan called his name, running after him, but Shadow did not stop. The forest was thick and dark, and every step Ethan took made his heart beat faster. He had chased many horses before, but something about this felt different. The deeper he went, the quieter it became. No bird sang, no wind whispered through the trees, and even the rustling of the leaves seemed hushed. Shadow ran ahead, pausing only at a small clearing where the sunlight fell in golden patches. Ethan slowed, trying to catch his breath, and that was when he noticed it, a faint glimmer in the dirt that did not belong. Ethan stepped carefully into the clearing, his eyes fixed on the glimmer in the dirt. Shadow pawed the ground nervously, snorting as if warning him. Ethan bent down and brushed the leaves aside. At first, it looked like nothing more than an old piece of metal, half-buried and rusty. But as he dug a little deeper, he realized it was a small, square trapdoor, hidden beneath the soil. His heart raced. Who could have buried something here? And why? The forest felt colder now, the shadows stretching longer around him. Ethan glanced at Shadow, whose ears twitched, sensing danger. With trembling hands, Ethan lifted the trapdoor. Beneath it was darkness, a hole leading down into something unknown. He could hear nothing but the faint thump of his own heartbeat. Every instinct told him to run, yet something inside made him lean closer, peering into the darkness below. Ethan's hands shook as he held the trapdoor open. The darkness below seemed endless, and a cold, damp smell rose up from the hole. Shadow stayed close, his black coat blending with the shadows around them, his eyes alert and watchful. Ethan took a deep breath and slowly climbed down the rough wooden steps. Each creak echoed in the silence of the forest, making him jump. At the bottom, he found himself in a small, hidden room carved into the earth. The walls were lined with old wooden shelves covered in dust, and strange objects were scattered everywhere. There were jars filled with unknown powders, rusty tools, and old papers tied in bundles with string. A soft golden light fell from a crack in the ceiling, making some objects shimmer. Ethan's eyes caught something in the corner, a chest, old but solid, with intricate carvings etched into its surface. He knelt in front of it, brushing off years of dirt and leaves. The chest creaked as he lifted the lid, revealing a pile of old journals and papers. The first journal looked fragile, its leather cover cracked and worn. He opened it carefully. The pages were filled with symbols, drawings of the forest, and strange maps marking places he had never seen. Ethan's pulse quickened. These writings were old, but they seemed important, like someone had hidden them here for a reason. As he flipped through the pages, he realized the maps led to other parts of the forest, places that seemed forbidden. A small note slipped from between the pages and landed at his feet. It read, "Do not follow the path alone. Danger waits for those who seek the truth." A shiver ran down Ethan's spine. He glanced at Shadow, who nuzzled his shoulder as if to say, "We should be careful." The forest outside felt darker now, and the wind whispered through the trees, carrying an almost human sigh. Something was watching, and Ethan knew that his discovery was only the beginning. Ethan rose from the dusty floor, holding the journals close to his chest. Shadow pressed against his leg, ears twitching, as if sensing something Ethan could not. The warning from the note echoed in his mind, "Danger waits for those who seek the truth." He glanced at the forest beyond the trapdoor and felt a chill run down his spine. As he climbed back toward the surface, he noticed footprints in the soft earth, small, careful, and recent. Someone else had been here, someone who wanted to keep the secret hidden. The thought made his heart pound faster. Who could it be, and were they still nearby? Every rustle of the leaves, every snap of a branch sounded like footsteps following him. Ethan's hands tightened on the journals as he emerged into the clearing. Shadow snorted, low and warning, eyes fixed on the trees. Suddenly, a figure stepped out from behind a thick trunk. Ethan froze. The stranger was tall, face hidden under a hood, and moved silently toward him. Panic and curiosity battled inside him. He could run, but if he left the journals behind, all he had discovered would be lost forever. The figure stopped a few feet away, watching him. Ethan tried to speak, but his voice caught in his throat. Shadow pawed at the ground, stamping and snorting, ready to protect him. A sudden movement in the woods to the left made Ethan's heart skip a beat. Something or someone was hiding there too. Ethan realized the journals were more important than he had imagined. Whoever had buried them did not want anyone to find them. He had a choice: hand over the journals to the stranger, leave them behind, or try to escape and hide them somewhere safe. His mind raced. Each option was dangerous, but running might make things worse. The stranger took another step forward, and Ethan noticed a small, carved knife strapped to their belt. The air grew tense, thick with unspoken threat. Shadow let out a low growl, and Ethan's pulse spiked. His decision had to be quick, but his instincts told him the forest held even more secrets that could change everything he thought he knew about his stable, his land, and perhaps even himself. Ethan tightened his grip on the journals, feeling the stranger's eyes on him. Every step the figure took toward him made the clearing feel smaller, darker. Shadow pressed close, letting out a warning snort, but Ethan knew he could not back down. Then, a sudden rustle came from the woods behind the stranger. Both of them froze. From the shadows, more figures emerged silent, moving with purpose. Ethan realized he was surrounded. His heart pounded in his chest. The journals in his hands might be the only thing that could save him or the very reason he was in danger. A thought struck him. He remembered the maps in the journals, markings of hidden tunnels and secret paths in the forest. He had seen a faint outline of one near the clearing's edge. With a deep breath, he whispered to Shadow, "This way." The horse understood immediately, bolting toward the edge of the clearing. Ethan ran, clutching the journals, the stranger and their group close behind. He reached the faint tunnel, nearly hidden by fallen leaves. Dropping to his knees, he crawled inside, Shadow following close. The strangers hesitated at the entrance, unsure if they could follow. Ethan's chest heaved, adrenaline sharp in his veins. The tunnel led deeper into darkness, twisting and turning under the earth. At the end, Ethan found a small chamber, lit by a shaft of sunlight through a crack in the ceiling. Inside were more journals, artifacts, and old wooden carvings, evidence of a secret long hidden in the forest. Ethan realized the discovery was bigger than he had imagined. Someone had spent years hiding this knowledge, and now he held the key. Shadow nuzzled him, sensing the relief and awe in Ethan's heart. He looked back toward the tunnel entrance, knowing that danger had not disappeared, but the discovery this secret was safe for now. Ethan understood that his life, his stable, and even the forest would never be the same again. For the first time, he smiled, knowing he had uncovered something incredible, something that could change everything. And Shadow whinnied softly, as if sharing his excitement. Ethan sat on the edge of the chamber, catching his breath. Shadow stood beside him, quiet and alert, ears flicking at every sound from above. The journals and artifacts were safe, at least for now, but Ethan knew he could not stay hidden forever. Someone had tried to keep these secrets buried, and the forest still held its dangers. He carefully looked over the maps and papers, realizing that they told stories of the forest, of people who had lived and worked here long before his stable existed. There were notes about hidden paths, secret chambers, and warnings to protect the knowledge from those who might misuse it. Ethan understood that he had stumbled into something much larger than a runaway horse or a hidden chest. Slowly, he began to plan. He would need to keep the discovery safe, perhaps share it with the right people, but only when the time was right. Shadow nudged his shoulder, reminding him that he was not alone. The forest outside seemed less threatening now, though he knew the danger had not vanished. Ethan stood, journals in hand, and looked up at the tunnel entrance. Whatever lay ahead, he was ready. The chase had led him to a secret that would change everything, and he knew his life and his stable would never be the same again. Ethan emerged from the tunnel as the sun began to dip behind the trees. The forest was quiet again, but he felt different, lighter, yet aware that his life had changed forever. Shadow trotted beside him, calm and steady, as if proud of what they had discovered together. He carried the journals back to the stable, thinking carefully about what to do next. The knowledge within them was powerful, and it could bring danger or protection. Ethan decided to keep the secret safe for now, learning from the maps and writings before sharing them. That night, as he fed Shadow and checked the other horses, Ethan felt a deep sense of connection to the forest, to his stable, and to the hidden stories waiting to be discovered. He knew the chase had been more than a simple run after a runaway horse. It had been the beginning of a journey he would never forget. The forest held its secret still, but Ethan was ready.